today's episode, we will speak to Mr. Sinha, CMD Triveni Engineering and Solutions. Well, thank you for talking to us, Mr. Sinha. As the industry moves towards the latest technology of ethanol production like 2G and 3G ethanol production, tell us about the industry's preparedness level and how this transition is coming up.
Well, take a look at it. The first plant has already been dedicated to the nation. Now, there have been technical challenges about it. It's still not at full capacity. There's bound to be a lot of learning coming out of it. So if I look at what are the challenges going forward about it, in terms of the technical learning, that I'm sure it's going to get refined over a short period of time. That's point number one. Second is, the capex is very high for 2G, which is about, let's say, 5x or 6x of an equivalent 1G distillery. And therefore, there's a need to indigenize and localize the proprietary equipments which get manufactured out of it. The third issue over here is in terms of the OPEX. The enzyme cost is huge. So therefore, the issue of reduction of import duty or preferential import duty on enzyme, as well as the enzymes to go under the Make in India program. That's very essential. And fourth and most importantly thing is from the government's perspective is having the governmental intervention in terms of announcing the pricing. That will determine how this 2G technology goes on. We have been in the forefront of asking for the bolt-on plants, and the government has come out with a press release saying that now they would also, the 2G bolt-on plants would be approved going forward. So that's something very encouraging sign. In terms of the preparedness of the industry, given all the above challenges which need to be addressed, there's a huge quantum of bagasse which is produced as a percentage of the sugarcane crushed and which comes out during the processing of sugarcane. That's available at one place. Aggregated supply chain and aggregated availability of bagasse, organized availability of bagasse over here, which is a very, very key thing. And I'm sure the large industries would be looking forward to get into the 2G, given possibly its lower carbon intensity.
Government's initiative to achieve E20 target by 25-26, it has put both ethanol producers and manufacturers in spotlight. So can you tell us about the challenges that you see when it comes to overall ethanol production and balancing the production needs, sugar availability for sugar industry, and also exports targets?
So let me address the second part of the question first. Now, if you look at it, this year's current production, we are looking at about 34.5 million tons of production, and the consumption is somewhere around 29.2 million, and we are saying 4 million tons to be diverted to ethanol. That's point number one. So what does that lead with is again some quantum which is available for exports. Also, you must realize that the initial stocking limit till a year back was at around 5.5 million ton, which was comfortable for the entire country. Now that number has gone up to about 9 million tons. So therefore, there's enough sugar both for diversion as for export to take place over here. So I'm not worried about the sugary or the sugarcane feedstocks, both for diversion for ethanol. Now in my presentation, I'm very clear that we are going to achieve E20. This year would be about 14% plus. That was contingent on the government's decision to restrict the B-heavy and the cane juice supplies in December last year, which enabled the diversion only to a number of about 2 million tons of sugar. Now that number going to 4 million tons, as well as maize overtaking it. So if you ask me my projections for the coming ethanol supply year, I would say it would be between 17 to 18%. Capacity-wise, we are absolutely on target for 20% blending over here. Now, what are the challenges? The challenges are in and immediate, and we are hopeful for remedying that, are in terms of the pricing of the ethanol that we get. Now, again, two questions is, can we have a if you look at the input feed, which goes for ethanol processing, you are looking at an administered price regime. And therefore, the government has been increasing that prices. And could we have a pass-through of that increase in pricing in the ethanol pricing? The second thing is coming down to maize. Maize does not have an organized supply chain going in. Earlier it was FCI which was procuring it, giving it to as a fixed price with a fixed ethanol price, and we were just tolling it. So there was no issue, and it was a very good scenario which was happening till then. But the increase in the ethanol price in maize, because of the lack of a supply chain, has resulted in most of the increase in the ethanol prices being captured by the intermediaries, and that's what worrying it. So the amount of benefit going to the farmers or going to the millers has been much less than what's been captured by the intermediaries. So therefore, can the government have NAFED or other cooperatives buy this and give it to the industry at a fixed price? B, can we go back to FCI or the state agencies to procure rice and give it to the industry? Because this issue of a supply chain cannot happen overnight. It's going to take some time for it to happen. And the third thing is that if you look at maize as a feedstock, the current yield of maize is about 3.15 tons per hectare, and it has the potential to double. If not double to 6 tons per hectare, at least become 5 tons per hectare. Can happen in 3-4 years' time very easily, and therefore there is a need for a structured program between the industry and the government to try and enhance the productivity going forward.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sinha. It was a pleasure talking to you.